So, what do you do if you are working with your child and you see that their academic needs aren't being met? This is really stressful. It can be really stressful if you have a child who is struggling. It can be really stressful if you have a child who is soaring and you can see their academic needs aren't being met. Now, this is not something that is specific to homeschooling. This can happen in any academic situation, and it's stressful, and it is something that as a parent, most of you are going to want to address, especially if your child is struggling. So what do you do? Welcome to This Is Homeschooling. I'm your host, Blair Lee. We split this into two episodes. Part one, this episode is focused on how to evaluate and provide the scaffolded support that your child needs if they're struggling in an area. Part two will focus on how to provide the support and scaffolding in those areas where your child is excelling. When I work with kids who are struggling, I have a multi-stepped process that I'm going to share with you so that you can do this at home. The first thing you need to do is figure out the root cause. Why is your child struggling? Is it that the concept is really challenging for them? And just because it's not challenging for you, do not assume it's not challenging for them. Is it the way the material is being presented? Maybe they need the learning in a different modality or different modalities. Is it that it's just too much coming at them all at once? Or could it possibly be that they have an undiagnosed learning challenge that is affecting learning in particular around a certain concept? Step two is to eliminate all distractions as you figure this out. It's kind of tied into step one, actually. Now, that might mean siblings, noise in the background, whatever might cause distractions to your child. Get rid of them as you figure this out. So you have figured out the root cause. You have eliminated distractions. Now you need to figure out where the holes are so that you can provide teaching around those topics. Now, when you do this, make that the focus academically. Do not continue to pile other academic work on your child in math, for example. Let's say your child is struggling in math. Do not keep teaching new math concepts as you figure this out. I see this happening in school situations sometimes or actually all the time, where you've got, here's what you need to learn. Didn't learn that. Oh, darn, you still need to learn that. Here's some more stuff you need to learn. So now the mile's twice as high. Oh, you didn't learn that. Oh, darn, still need to. Do not do that. That's part of a distraction. You need to get rid of all of that and just focus on going all the way back. And what you do is you think about a time when they were not struggling. You go back to that point and then you begin teaching and you make sure that you're correct on that. You do some teaching at that. And so, hey, it's a review. You're focusing on a time when they weren't distracted. Let's say your child's in third grade and you realize that they're struggling with math. Go back to second grade math. Yes, you can go back to second grade math to figure out why your child might be struggling in third grade math. And then you're going to just very carefully and go through the material. You are going to use a skills-based approach when you do this. You are going to think to yourself, what skill is being taught here? And make sure that your child understands that skill. I have worked with kids so many times in math and science and writing and reading, actually, where kids were struggling. And this is an approach I use. I warn parents when I'm doing this, I'm going to say it's going to look like we're just doing review at this point. I have to figure out where there started to be a struggle in order to address the challenges. This is actually a really soft and thoughtful and kind approach, because when you go back to where your child's not struggling, you can say, wow, you really learned this. This is really great. You can help your child build confidence again, because actually the next step, so I'm going to now morph right into the next step, is helping your child build confidence. Children know that they're struggling. They know that you're worried about them struggling, and it starts to erode their confidence. And when you're not confident that you can learn something, it impacts the actual learning. So you go back, you help them build confidence. This is a real growth mindset approach, by the way. And you just slowly, one skill at a time, not 2 or 3 or 4, one skill at a time, you walk your way up to where they are. One of the things that you might not think about when you're working with your child is to introduce different modalities. I have found that with some of the kids I work with, especially those who are kinesthetic learners who go to traditional school where they aren't particularly encouraging of kids who need to get up and move around, is that the introduction of either manipulatives or movement can have a huge impact on how well a child learns something that they're struggling with. Once you start working using this sequential skills-based approach with your child, you will see often a dramatic improvement in their facility around a subject. But you've got to be really careful. So let's think of these things as bricks that you're filling into the foundation. Do not assume that you have found all the bricks. Often there will be a few concepts. And by the time you realize that there's an issue, there often is more than one concept that your child is struggling with. So you're going to want to continue with this approach. Now, you will get to things that you'll recognize right away that your child has mastered. And so you can go pretty quickly through those, and then you'll get to something that is challenging, and you're going to want to do once again that limited tutoring. If this is something that you're dealing with, hugs big time, ask me a question in the comments and I'll be sure to come over and give you my advice. I have worked with a lot of kids in this situation. If you want to connect with other parents who are dealing with similar situations, the See Homeschoolers Facebook group, we also have a subgroup for learning challenges. Join those and ask your questions in there, and you will get a community. Those are community-run groups, and you will be sure to hear from other parents who are dealing with a similar situation, and they can give you their input as to how they handled it to improve their child's learning outcomes. Much love, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and comment. I appreciate them. I love chatting with those of you who are listeners. Anyway, bye.